Hello, this is Central News coming to you via satellite because we're 3,500 miles away across the Atlantic.
Yes, as you can see from the skyline behind us, we're here in New York. On this, the first day that the West Midlands became linked with America's biggest city.
Hello, Central News comes to you live from New York because for the first time this city is linked by direct daily transatlantic flights to and from Birmingham.
Well, it's about 12:30 in the afternoon here, and just a few hours ago the first flight linking our two cities left and arrived. Unfortunately, things didn't go quite according to plan. There was a computer problem which prevented the plane from flying direct into Birmingham.
10 people on a coach wasn't quite what BA had planned for the return journey, not after they'd shown off their brand new 767 and made a song and dance of the inaugural flight. In the air, the party continued, with champagne flowing and passengers enthusiastic about the new service. Everyone was sky high and predicting success in the money-spinning venture. But the magic wasn't to last. As 290 VIPs went off to enjoy New York, 39 others boarded for the return journey. A fault spotted at the last minute resulted in cancellation and a later flight to Heathrow. 12 hours on, red faces and floral apologies for the 10 who didn't stay in the capital. Are you happy with the explanation you've been given?
What, just now?
Yes, I suppose it is rather embarrassing, but these things, as I say, unfortunate incidents do occur and a technical problem arose. And of course we do make certain that everything is perfectly safe before anything moves.
5 hours, you went 3,000 miles. 100 years ago it used to take 5 weeks.
New things always have problems. They got to work the bugs out.
All's well that ends well. With the plane mended, it's due to leave New York tonight on time.
We'll be back with more from New York very soon. In the meantime, it's back to Luella in the studio for the rest of the day's news.
And that's the news from me. We now go back to join Bob and Michelle in New York.
Welcome back to New York and in fact to Ellis Island, which is just across the water from Manhattan. This is the site of the largest migration in modern history. Immigrants were brought here so that officials could decide whether they could then go on into the United States. I'm standing next to a wall of honor. On this wall are the names of some 400,000 people who passed through here on their way to become citizens of the New World. There are even some Warmans and Newmans here. But these days, the only visitors to Ellis Island are tourists who arrive on the ferry from Manhattan. The buildings where once thousands waited to hear their fate have been turned into a museum of immigration. Now, Ellis Island is just one of the sights visitors to the Big Apple have got to see.
Enjoy it, sweetie. Okay, thank you.
Sunny side up, down or scrambled, eggs are a serious business in New York. The big breakfast in a city where everything is big. Bob and Jill Gray from Sutton Coldfield may be strangers to the city, but not its famous sights.
Look at that, Bob. Look down here, quick. Hey, there's the Statue of Liberty. Look, down there. It is special to see the Statue of Liberty. When you think of all that are involved, I mean, we went in and read all about it.
All them immigrants coming over, the first sight they see is the Statue of Liberty.
It's just like it is on the films, though, the taxis whizzing around and everything.
And police cars
screeching and horns blowing, yeah.
The ambulances are funny. They're like square trucks.
If you go walk on the street, you'll hear everything but English. You'll hear every language there is.
That's true.
We have people from all over the world live here. I would say that the Americans in this city are a minority.
The revelation, as far as I'm concerned, is the throb of the city. I mean, it's there. You can feel it day or night.
It buzzes all the time. It's not like at home where everything, you know, work finishes and the city finishes. It just keeps going. Very exciting, isn't it? Especially, you know, in the evening when you go out for a walk to look. Very, very then. The lights are flashing and everybody's whizzing around and it's good. Very good. Like
Recommend it.
It's a hell of a time.
I'm joined now by someone who's just had his first taste of business life in New York, Peter Barwell, Lord Mayor of Birmingham, and also I'm joined by Marshall Millsap, who's the director of the British American Chamber of Commerce here in New York. Well, may I turn to home territory first, if it's not too rude? Peter Barwell, right, first impressions of business life in New York?
Very exciting. I've just got back from the Stock Exchange, which was founded in 1792. It was just like a souk in the Middle East. I've never seen such a maze of cameras and litter and paper and people. It was buzzing, really buzzing today.
But a very exciting day for Birmingham.
Most exciting. It's wonderful that at last we have these direct flights, which we've been fighting for years.
Marshall Millsap, if I may turn to you, we have these direct flights. Are they really going to make a difference between the links between our business communities?
I think they will. First of all, it's going to make a lot of people in this neighborhood think about Birmingham as a gateway to Europe. And people in this neighborhood are looking for places to get into Europe constantly.
Yes, but how do we guys, as it were, break into your market? Because you're absolutely great at selling, but you're not that interested in buying, I sometimes think.
Oh, I think you shouldn't underestimate British entrepreneurs in selling things to this market, particularly emphasizing the British aspects of things. Americans love things that are British.
So do you really think it's going to make a big difference between the links between us? There's going to be a lot more business coming across the Atlantic?
Well, initially, perhaps it's a matter of getting people together. But once you've gotten people together, particularly people from the Anglo-Saxon community who speak the same language, they'll start making money together.
Yes, but do we do business in the same sort of way?
The trap is that we do so many things in the same way. We speak the same language, we have the same traditions. But it's the little things, and this is where organizations like Her Majesty's Government or the British American Chamber come in handy, like tax laws, health laws, work laws, the electricity, size of paper. We can help British investors find their way in North America.
So you think we do communicate well enough to do good business?
Absolutely.
Peter Barwell, may I turn to you? I mean, it's been a long haul getting this together, hasn't it? Is it going to be worth it for Birmingham? You've done your research. Are you confident?
Very confident indeed, and a small step for British Airways is a gigantic step for Birmingham and the West Midlands.
Peter Barwell, thank you very much indeed. Marshall Millsap, just before we go, have you been to Birmingham?
Yes, I have.
So what are your first impressions?
Well, my first impressions of Birmingham, I expected to see nothing but steel and industry. And I was surprised at how cosmopolitan, European, and nice a place it was.
Now that's music to the Lord Mayor's ears, I'm quite sure. Marshall Millsap, Peter Barwell, thank you very much indeed for joining me. Time now to join Bob.
This new link between Birmingham and New York might encourage some of our local businesses to think a little bit bigger when it comes to exports, but they may find the going rather tougher than they expect.
New York's answer to the NEC, where international art dealers are gathered for the world's biggest commercial art fair. Paul Green and Glyn Washington run Birmingham's Halcyon Gallery and its sister publishing firm. This is their 7th year trying to break into the lucrative New York art market. They find dealers here eager to flog their wares, but less keen to buy British.
Everybody always wants to sell to you. Nobody wanted to buy from us.
Isn't it a bit like carrying coals to Newcastle, though, bringing art to New York?
No, not really. I think we've got equally as good art there. It's just getting into this market is so difficult.
They're very aggressive. They love to talk business, but it isn't easy to sell. No, they are very specific. American market generally, they feel as though they've got everything, and why should they bring anything in?
Paul and Glyn may still be learning the art of making money in New York, but they're having fun trying.
I love New York. It's a fantastic place. It is generally a sort of 24-hour city. The problem is getting the work done once you've been out enjoying yourself at night.
Well, we're taking a short break now, but in part 2 we're hopping into one of New York's famous yellow cabs to take in some of the sights that visitors don't get to see.